and welcome. India's largest information technology company, TCS, has reported its numbers for the fourth quarter, a slip on revenue, but beating estimates and seeing a better financial year 26. And joining me now live is Samir Seksaria, the Chief Financial Officer of TCS. Welcome to the show. Let me dive in straight. The key hits and misses, if you could summarize for this quarter for our viewers, Samir.
Okay, I think if you look at Q4, order book at 12.2 billion is, and especially given that it is without any mega deal, is a key one, and that is back of another good quarter of over 10 billion in order book in Q3. Another thing, if you look at our sequential revenue, so Q4 YOY revenue was 2.5%, but on a sequential basis, it was negative 80 basis points. But in this, if you were to look at all our major markets had a positive growth, and excluding that, if you were to do it, the sequential growth would have been in the positive territory. That said, on the margin side, against 24.5, previous Q4 margins were at 24.2, a decline of 30 basis points. But on that is on back of significant investments which we have done, investments in merit-based interventions, promotions, which were effective 1st of January, almost 25,000 of them, which would take the total number of promotions to about 110,000. So 1 in 6 people got a promotion in the last financial year. Then we made investments in specifically on non-employee expenses, on capability building, etc. So those were on back of those investments, we had a slight margin, so about 160 basis points of investments. After that also, we were able to curtail the margin hit to only 30 basis points. So those are the ones. Very quickly, we talked about the regional markets. I think BFSI, energy resources and utilities continue to perform better. And a lot of our other verticals came in at a flat sequential revenue, whether it is manufacturing, CMI, which has turned the corner, tech and services, etc.
Samir, this is the slowest full year revenue growth in 4 years. And while we know the reasons for the past, how is the future looking like? What's the outlook that you can share with our viewers?
So I'll do both of it. One, on FY25, it is still better than FY24 in terms of constant currency. Going up into the future, I think what we believe is the current uncertainty should resolve sooner rather than later. And if that happens, we are given what the order book which we have won in the last 2 quarters, and given the momentum which we have seen in some of the industries like BFSI, like the ERU, and probably a turnaround in CMI. I think on back of that, and with if uncertainty resolves, we should see FY26 also to be better than FY25, at least in the major markets.
Samir, what gives you the confidence in terms of the resolution of the uncertainty? What would help remove that as far as your business is concerned?
Well, the uncertainties are macro. And one thing is, if we go back to January, we called out that we are seeing positive momentum, not just in BFSI, but we called out then CBG improving and manufacturing with supply side challenges resolving, improving. Our take was, if we see an improvement in BFSI, the retail business and manufacturing, the entire US economy should have seen a revival. Whereas there was a sudden change in terms of with all the trade talks and everything, the situation or the sentiments changed significantly in March. Uh, our expectation is as certain it was in March, probably it should resolve sooner rather than be dragged over a longer period of time. But that's a wait and watch. We are not macro experts to take a view. But what we can certainly do is stay close to our customer. If uncertainty prevails, our customers would also look at cost optimization, and TCS would be able to help them in uh, optimizing their technology spend, prioritizing things which they would need from a technology perspective. So staying close to our customers would be one key thing.
Absolutely, and really no one can take a call on the macro volatility that we are seeing, because this is unprecedented. And I know our viewers and all analysts will certainly appreciate your comments in this regard. Let's turn to the India business. The reason I asked you this question is that while almost 90% comes from international as your revenue source, there is a India business where a Bharat Sanchar deal has run its course. What are the prospects for the India business, and do you see additional deals happening this year, and they kind of offsetting to some extent a possible dip from overseas?
So one, India business per se in its overall form has huge prospects. And we see, and it is not just the BSNL, overall, whether it is in the public sector or private sector, opportunities are enormous. And what we need to do, so we are a leader in terms of by far the revenues coming from India, but that apart, we can scale it up significantly. Coming to the BSNL deals which you talked about, yes, we have delivered a significant portion of it with 90,000. So 100,000 sites were to be delivered. 90,000 have been commissioned, and 80,000 have been carrying traffic. It's 80,000 are live. So it will, in its due course, will be completing the balance, and it runs its overall thing. But in terms of opportunity, we'll have opportunity in terms of additional sites which might come up from BSNL itself. We can take the solution to other customers and enterprises in India, and we can take it globally also. So we have demonstrated our capabilities, and that was the key reason for taking this deal. And based on these capabilities, we should be able to participate further.
Samir, North America is your biggest geography on an international basis. So two parts to my question. One, in terms of the revenue mix across the geographies, what changes are likely to happen in this quarter? And the underlying fundamental point there is, given what's happening in North America, we don't know how soon the uncertainties will resolve. There is one very optimistic view that this 90-day window is actually a massive breather. Do you see in the medium to long term being able to reduce dependency on North America?
See, we look at each of our markets as opportunity. In North America also. So if you look at, probably you are guiding to the mix of revenues probably has changed because India proportion of growth has increased. But we look at each market separately. We look at each customer as a focus area separately. So we will not, we are not looking at anything like de-risking it. We'll drive opportunities in India, at the same time drive opportunities in US. Actually, when there is uncertainty, it provides further opportunities for us to double down on it. As I mentioned or alluded a little before, in times of uncertainty, our clients also would be looking at optimizing their cost, generating or getting spends which they can, which they might want to prioritize elsewhere. And TCS can help them on both sides of it, whether it is cost optimization or prioritizing their technology spends.
A couple more points. In terms of cost optimization and uncertainty, could this imply that major clients, particularly in North America, may delay decision making and parallelly look at cost optimization through an AI lens? Do you agree with that view? And most importantly, what is TCS doing to pivot or be able to take opportunities, leverage these opportunities from this evolving situation?
So one, to your question on looking at spends, when the spends would be discretionary in nature, yes, there can be, delays in decision making. They can come under higher scrutiny. They could cut down on some of the discretionary spends. But the annuity spends, or which are required to keep your systems live, will have to be incurred, and that's where they can have an opportunity through further consolidate their spends or get optimization of the annuity spend. They cannot take it off completely, and this is the opportunity which will come to TCS. Now, in terms of your second question was, can it be replaced with Gen AI? Now, Gen AI is a lever which will help you get productivity. If you take TCS's business model, productivity is something which we deliver year after year with certainty to our customers. Gen AI can help enhance it, and that's a productivity once delivered is also available to the customer, which is shared with the customer. So, but in its form, for a large enterprise, can you eliminate everything and replace it with Gen AI? It is not possible in its current day and form. You had one more last question, Siddharth. I missed it probably.
No. That was it. You answered it. Basically, the switch to AI and whether your company will be able to continue to serve client demands who may decide to leverage Gen AI further. That was just a small point. If you want to add to that.
No. So absolutely, we have been investing significantly in training our and reskilling our employees. We are investing into innovation and building capabilities on Gen AI. At the same time, we are partnering with our customers and various hyperscalers to develop various proof of concepts, and that is something which, in our client centricity vision, we'd want to take it to our customers and leverage on it, where we also benefit and the customers also benefit.
One final question, and this is what is grabbing headlines all over, which is the deferral of the wage hike. There is both an emotional element to it, but a practical point. Why defer, and how long can this deferral last?
Well, so 2 points. I think if you look at last financial year, I talked about promotions. We gave promotions in this year. Irrespective, it's not about the deferral, but we have been a company which have been consistently been giving wage hikes. We gave it at the beginning of the year. Not many companies have followed through on it. We are not saying we are not going to give wage hikes this year. It has been put on hold given the uncertainty. Once we get better certainty on the macros, we will reconsider that decision.
And what about hiring, the outlook for this year? One quick final point.
We will go ahead with our normal hiring. The campus hiring numbers remain unchanged.
All right, Samir, thank you very much for your time with us to help us understand and decode your results. Viewers, this was India's bellwether IT company taking us through some highlights of the results. We'll slip into a short break and come back.
Thanks.
Do stay. Don't take. Thank you. Bye-bye.
The only aspect that differentiates us human beings from other mammals or animals entirely is our wish to explore.